Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Tuesday weather update. New Zealand has a cold southerly on the way. Australia's already got the cold change and a whole lot of rain is forming in Queensland. Let's get into it. The northerly flow over the top of the country, noticeable at the moment. In fact, the two main systems on the map, high number one out here, just northeast of the Chatham Islands, and that's driving down this mild subtropical to some degree airflow, northerlies anyway. And then there's a very weak little low near New Zealand, and then out here around Tasmania is the next big high. And that's the one with the colder southerly that you're all feeling around the southeastern side of Australia. So that cold southerly on its way for New Zealand. It's already started in the lower South Island. It gets colder in the next few days ahead, only a little bit by day, but what you'll notice is the overnight lows dropping as that high starts to roll in. You can't see the low yet forming to the north, but there is a rainmaker on its way for Queensland, quite a bit of rain on the way there, and the easterly flow up in the tropics, it continues on. Nothing too dramatic up there, just the usual passing showers. So we've got rain on the way. We've got two maps, one for New Zealand, the other one for Aussie, and the main rain for New Zealand over on the west coast here, where we're still seeing totals of maybe up to 80 millimetres and a little bit of spillover into Canterbury, mostly around the mountains and ranges, out around Mount Somers, for example. The further you get out to the plains, like Akaroa, you're seeing basically no rain at all, and very little in the way of wet weather along really the eastern and southeastern parts of the country. And also around Auckland, there's not a lot of rain up there either. Over in Australia, the rainfall totals are much greater with that offshore system brushing by. So we're talking about 80 millimetres or so around Rockhampton, and then about 50 all the way down to Brisbane, much lower totals. So it's not the same as the rain event that you had. This is for the next 2 days ahead. So here we are by Wednesday. So the high number 2 parked out here over Tasmania, bringing frosty weather for you. And then the cold southerlies coming up and into Sydney. Over in New Zealand, the southerly comes up and turns around as a sou'wester. It won't be as cold as what you're feeling in Tasmania, but the North Island actually still has to some degree a bit of a northerly and the rain. And then later on, that very weak low pressure zone moves through. So by Thursday, that low moves out to the east and deepens, as they often do, and that drives in a windy southerly coming into Wellington, a wintry day for you on Thursday as that comes on through. The blue line, which indicates, as we said before, it's sort of like a bite out of the atmosphere from the southerly, so it shows it's quite a big, colder change coming in, and there will be a few snow flurries up in the ranges and mountains as well. And now you can see that rainmaker up here in the Coral Sea. There is that low forming, and it's driving in a very wet easterly right down into New South Wales. So by Friday, that low deepens, heavy rain, or at least rain for Brisbane, and it just sort of falls apart into patchy rain and showers the further south you go on the back end of this high, and a warmer northerly flow for you. But of course, on the New Zealand side, the colder southerly, there'll be wintry showers. That just means it feels like winter and you have showers, but maybe there might be a bit of sleet, or even a little bit of hail in there somewhere, just to indicate that it's not your normal showery weather, it's a southerly with a wintry sort of taste to it. And then as we go into the weekend, it moves up into the North Island's eastern side, high pressure over the South Island, big frosts, -3s and 4s and -5s throughout the South Island. It could go colder than that in some extreme areas, and the rain continues on in Australia. The low, fairly weak, but the rain is pushing further down into New South Wales. And then we get into Sunday, and a very weak cold front brushes past Western Australia and into South Australia, and this low out in the Tasman gets larger but not deeper. In fact, it gets weaker a little bit, but it grows in size, so it's a bit of a one step forward, one step backwards as far as the energy is concerned. Most of the rain and wind out at sea, a little bit blustery along the coastline just there, and over in New Zealand you're caught up in the same system, so you'll notice the easterlies building in the north on Sunday, still quite cold, be frosty in a number of areas, good sort of wintry weather, just in time for all the school kids to go back to school. So the timing's not perhaps perfect for these school holidays. But anyway, that is the forecast. Back again on Wednesday with our next update. See you then.